We move on. We have just 3 games left on the card. We're doing okay. 2 hours, 4 minutes in. Let's move on to the next spot. 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Let me set everything up. I need to get the Arizona injury report here. Had all these questionables and I didn't write them all down. Arizona Cardinals 8-2, 5-0 on the road at Seattle Seahawks 3-6, 1-3 at home. We're at Lumen Field, Seattle, Washington. 45 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 5 miles per hour. We have Arizona opening up as 1-point favorites. They quickly became 2.5-point favorites after the debacle that Seattle dropped. Right now at Pinnacle, they're still 2.5-point favorites, but that 2.5 points is at plus 102. This total is at 49 after opening. God, sorry, I got so many things up here. Okay. Sorry, I got the hockey up here. What an ass clown I am. All right, I got too many things up here. After opening at 50, so we've dropped 1 point. When we go to the cash flow in this spot, we have 1,639 tickets in. 39% of the tickets are on the Seahawks, 69% of the cash, and the market has clearly moved towards the Cardinals. Then we have 53% of tickets on the under, and we don't have cash information yet. Again, we're shooting this on Tuesday night, so a lot of time for the tickets to come in. Arizona comes in off an ugly 34-10 home loss to the Panthers with Kyler Murray hurt. Colt McCoy was 11 for 20 for 107 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. You know, I don't believe in fairy tales and all that shit. How, and I said on the show that, you know, I would be on the Panthers and Washington football team. Who cares what you say? It's what you bet. And the fact that I wasn't fading Colt McCoy in some way, that doesn't mean to necessarily be on the Panthers, but take the Arizona team total under or just not believe in what we saw against the Niners. I just wish I had done that, and I did not. Colt McCoy looked terrible. Then Winnipeg Blue Bomber Chris Drevler comes in and looks okay. 6 for 9 for 36 yards. Christian Kirk caught 7 passes for 58 yards. With Chase Edmonds hurt, James Conner ran 10 times for 39 yards and a touchdown. The defense could get no pressure. So this was a defense that was creating all kinds of pressure. And just the fact that J.J. Watt out isn't the reason why, you know, they're not capable of creating pressure. But they could get none. No sacks, 3 quarterback hits. So right from the beginning of the game, you knew Colt McCoy was in trouble. That fumble, 3rd play of the game, sack, fumble. And then Cam Newton, you know, Jesus, singing like Kate Bush in the end zone. The Cardinals were also missing DeAndre Hopkins. They got 169 yards of offense. I mean, you have to think that Kyler Murray will be back. You have to. The injury report here. God, sorry. The injury report here has Jonathan Ward, James Wiggins, Kyler Murray, Justin Pugh, DeAndre Hopkins, and Max Garcia all inactive last week and questionable this week. Colt McCoy was diagnosed with a pec strain. So there's no way they're going to go with Strevler, although I fucking love it. But there's no way they do that. So Kyler Murray will be back. Seahawks come in off being shut out for the first time in 10 years. 17-0 Green Bay. Russell returned from missing 3 games with an injury to his middle finger on his throwing hand, and he looked bad. 20 of 40, 161 yards, no touchdowns. Also ran 5 times, 32 yards. Both interceptions came in the end zone. Gerald Everett was the leading receiver with 8 catches for 63 yards. DK Metcalf did not look good. Caught 3 passes for 26 yards, got ejected late. Alex Collins ran 10 times for 41 yards. Jordan Brooks, 13 tackles. Jamal Adams doing his thing, 11 tackles, 1 pick, 2 quarterback hits. As a team, they could not get enough pressure on Rodgers. 2 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. Offensive tackle Dwayne Brown left with a hip injury. He was questionable this week. Ryan Neal was evaluated for concussion. He's in protocol. Cornerback Blesswans Austin and linebacker Cody Barton were inactive last week, listed as questionable this week. Terry Walker says Seattle. LMM says Seattle money line. Thank me later. Slatsy45 says 2 ways to look at this. Wait until Murray's confirmed or bet cards now and beat the market and hope Murray's in. Vital says, can't you go divisional under here? And with Arizona still dealing with COVID. Mike M says Seattle lit my board up this week. All signs say go. Curb stomp play of the day number 2. Seattle plus 2.5. Let's hand it over to Bebsie. Take it away, Cardinals Seahawks.
Listen, I don't see any value in taking the Cards here. I do believe that Murray will be back, and I think this line is probably uh, showing that right now. I think this line is indicative of them expecting Murray to be back. I don't think Seattle gets shut out 2 games in a row. I do think they bounce back a little bit. I think Wilson's going to have a much better game than he did second back from it. He's never been shut out in his career. It happened for the first time. And listen, this Seattle Seahawks are 3-6. But during this Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll tenure, they haven't been a team to be horrendous. And they've been sliding downward for a while, and putting as many band-aids on it as they can, and making wild decisions like trading 2 first-round picks for a safety who is now tied with Vince Wilfork for career interceptions with 3. That's not a guy you give 2 first-round picks for, no matter how well he rushes the quarterback. But listen, Seattle at home in a divisional matchup, there's value there. I see that. I see people betting Seattle, and I support that bet. Not going to do it myself. What I do like is what Vitalis just mentioned, which is a divisional matchup in Seattle, low-scoring affair. I think this number is too high, and I'm going to take the under in this one.
The under that opened up at 50 quickly moved to 49, is now sitting at 49. The under is at 49 at minus 106 at Pinnacle. It's minus 110 at Bet 365. So let's lock that in now for Bebsie. Under 49 at minus 106. Available at Pinnacle.
Vince Wilfork did have great hands, though.
It makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense. Brady says Wilson had a pin in his fingertips 2 weeks ago. He's not right last week. It is just nuts he's even playing. Healthy throwing hands matter at quarterback in the NFL or any football, actually. Wow. Bill McDonald. Yeah, it's yours. Bill McDonald says Seton Hall plus 6.5 live plus a hundo.
Also, has the league figured out DK Metcalf? All you got to do is piss him off, and he becomes a sucky baby.
This is a tricky spot. So Birdie's already on the Cardinals money line, and the Seahawks. You have to expect that Russell Wilson will get better each week unless there was some sort of setback during the game. And then Kyler Murray comes in, and he's going to be afraid to leave the pocket. So if you had a free bet right now, $500, and it was Arizona's 2.5-point road favorites, Bebsie, what would you do?
I mean, you have to bet Arizona. If you're giving me free money, you got to bet Arizona. Because you got to assume Murray's coming back, and they are right now just a better team. Seattle's been under the impression that they can patchwork. They're still resting on their laurels from the 2012 draft, was it, where they hit on Sherman and Chancellor, and they got all these. They built that team in 1 or 2 drafts. And they haven't done jack shit since then, except throw on Band-Aids. And because of how good Russell Wilson has been, they have maintained a high level of competition. But you're finally seeing the wheels come off, and they don't even have any picks to restock right now. They don't have a first-round pick next year because they gave it up for Jamal Adams.
Very, very difficult. Vitalis says Sharps on Seahawks, and the money percentage shows it. Because my answer would have been Seahawks.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was putting my my money on it might be the Seahawks because they're at home and that spot is better. But if it's free money, if I'm going to put it with a favorite.
Okay, quickly, we're going to move on. Can you just touch on this Arizona Cardinals defense now? They lose J.J. Watt. They looked awful against the Panthers. Now, I know that Seattle's not really going to hurt you from an offensive standpoint, so we're not entirely sure what they're going to show you. But generally speaking, this Cardinals defense moving forward, do you trust them? Are they an elite top 10 defense in the NFL?
No, and I've said that from the start of the season. They're not. I think they've been overblown. And, again, I don't want to gloat about calling a guy's injury, but I called J.J. Watt being not finishing the season way back in September because he hasn't finished a season after playing a 16-game season. He has not had two 16-game seasons, or 17 now in this case, in like 8 years. So if you were relying on him, which they obviously were to some degree, then yeah, they're gonna struggle. They also have underachieving linebackers.
Okay. Obviously, the Kraken's getting to me with people asking me to sing like Kate Bush and dropping Sledgehammer in the chat. I'm going to stay focused with you, Bebsie. I do think that the Seahawks are going to be on my card. I'm going to sit here and stare at it till the late hours of the evening. Bebsie's on the under 49 and minus 106 at Pinnacle. And we move on.